Hello, my name is Jake Meister, and this is the Soupcast, name tentative. And tonight I have two guests with me. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Ben Holtzman.
I'm Cooper.
And today we're gonna cover the E3 that just happened. And so, if you guys would you guys like to start out with the EA conference?
Yeah. So the EA conference had quite a few games, and by that I mean not that many games at all. It was actually kind of bad. They did announce a Star Wars game, but it was in an impromptu interview that was pretty much the worst thing of all time.
Yep.
Was there any good games at the EA conference?
Battlefield 5.
Battlefield 5?
So yeah, they did an EA Play event where they flew out a bunch of content creators to get some behind-the-scenes gameplay. Did a little bit of sponsored content as well as some OC and kind of let them take a look at the new Battlefield. So I've been playing a lot of Battlefield, played since Battlefield Bad Company 2. Played 3, 4, 5, and Battlefield 1, and 5 is kind of a continuation from Battlefield 1 into World War II, and it's also sort of a return to form for the Battlefield series, so they're getting rid of things like 3D spotting, which is like the little indicators above people's heads, so instead of just shooting at, essentially a little indicator, you're now actually going to have to spot the targets yourself. They added things like building fortifications as well as adding turrets. And the new operations mode, which is kind of a continuation from operations from Battlefield 1, which is multi-front campaign. They extended it. It's called Grand Operations, which is a multi-day, multi-front campaign. So you compete over, 4 consecutive days. With a mix of objectives, so there's capture points, there's destroy telecom towers, there's and then at the very end they have this thing called the final stand. So if you do actually make it all 4 days, what happens is you have 1 life. Everyone has 1 life, and you have a limited amount of ammo, and it's kind of a fight to the death to see who wins. So, I mean, they kind of did add some new things. They're trying to make the game a little bit more tactical. The squad leader has a little bit more influence over what happens in each game. But it's really, just a new Battlefield game. They did announce a Battle Royale. They didn't show any gameplay whatsoever, so we don't know any details about that. But from a pure gameplay standpoint, it looks like just Battlefield 1 upgraded with some community feedback added. So that's kind of like a recap. I don't know if you guys have any additional thoughts.
How do you think it'll compare to like Battlefield 1? Do you think it'll be more accurate, less accurate, history-wise, or? So
already less accurate because they do have prominent female characters in the campaign, which did catch some flack, but EA basically said, we don't really care what you think. If you don't like it, don't play the game.
Honestly, I think the cover is pretty badass.
Yeah. In terms of gameplay, I think it'll be more accurate, just because they're removing some of the HUD features. You can now build your own entrenchments, which is kind of what actually happened in World War II. So the front's constantly changing, and I think they're going to try and make it a little more team oriented. So I think it's a good move for the franchise, and they're trying to add new things without getting rid of what they already have and losing the player base that does like the new Battlefield games.
I've never been a big Battlefield player, but this Battle Royale mode kind of has me a little interested. I might come back and see that.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what they do. I wonder if they're going to do a large format, because, Battlefield games have only had a max of 64 players, so maybe they're going to keep it at that. Maybe they'll go to 100 players, and maybe you'll have teams, just like in normal Battlefield, where you still compete in the squad, and then maybe, the teams morph into, maybe you start fighting as two teams against each other, and then maybe it changes to just one team. Like whoever's in the victor team then fights each other. That'd be kind of cool. Like turn on your friends.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how a AAA company takes the Battle Royale genre, because it hasn't really happened yet. I mean, Epic kind of, but they kind of just did what we expected they do with it.
Yeah, and now we have both Battlefield and Call of Duty doing one this year, so see how that turns out.
I still can't wait for the CSGO one. Let's bring that out.
CSGO Battle Royale.
I mean, there's like rumors, and there's
you
like
finally get a Battle Royale that runs at 120 FPS.
Yeah, or 300 FPS, man. You're a real man.
All right. Well,
was there anything else in EA?
Anthem. We did see Anthem gameplay finally.
I don't think I could be any less enthused.
It seems like a very generic game, right?
I mean, EA's take on Destiny.
Yep, it's third person. BioWare's in front of it. They say it's going to be story. It'll probably have some story.
Last time they said there was story, there wasn't story. So
yeah, well, I guess that's true.
I actually saw some gameplay for Unravel 2, and that looked like quite a bit of fun, actually.
It's out now.
Oh, Unravel 2 is out?
Yeah, they announced it, and then they said it's out.
Oh, I thought only a demo was released. I didn't know the actual game came out.
Alright, so you can play with a friend. It looks like a pretty, casual co-op game. It'd be nice if it came to Switch, but, that's probably not going to happen. Or maybe it will in a year, and then they'll release it for full price,
EA seems to hate the Switch at the moment.
That's also true. They
don't like to take risks.
I think the only game that's come out by EA on Switch is Fee. And that's already on sale for half off, so EA might not continue on that platform. All right, well, I think we can move on to Microsoft now.
All right, Battletoads?
Yeah, we're getting a Battletoads, not re-release, but remake.
I can't wait for people to call GameStop again and actually get an answer for Battletoads.
Watch them. They're going to do digital-only release. It'll be hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Is this an Xbox cross-platform game as well? Is this going to be on a PC release?
I'm pretty sure pretty much every single Xbox game is also going to be on PC.
I think that's good. Honestly, yep. I mean, that kind of paves the way for cross-platform play as well. If they can bolster it. I mean, obviously no one likes using the Xbox Store to buy games, but
I don't think I've ever bought a game on the Xbox Store.
I bought State of Decay 2. And
I have the Game Pass, so I have State of Decay 2 and Sea of Thieves as well.
Yeah, they really need to work on improving that storefront.
Yeah, it's pretty generic. It's like all you can really do is download the game, and then it opens up the game that has no other management options. Library is kind of not easily accessible. It doesn't compare to Steam in any way. Alright, yeah, so Battletoads, we didn't actually see gameplay, but they did say it's couch co-op, and it's going to be hard, so...
Yeah, it'll probably just be like a Castle Crash, I mean, I guess Castle Crash is the Battletoads, but it'll be that style, I assume.
Yeah.
Maybe 2.5D, probably 2.5D.
I think that's what they said, actually. Yep, 4K 2.5D.
Oh yeah, because they're doing the joke, the joke bullet points.
Alright, so another thing got announced, Cyberpunk 2077, so CD Projekt Red is releasing a new game. We got Future Witcher, and they also did 50 minutes of gameplay after the announcement, so we do
behind closed doors.
Yeah. We do actually have a lot of gameplay and stuff from this.
I think when Cyberpunk 2077 comes out, I'll finally play Witcher 3.
Yeah.
The Witcher 3 was a great game. I played through a little bit of it. Maybe about 10 hours worth of gameplay. It was a lot of fun, but sadly I didn't have enough time to complete it.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with these games.
Yeah, I think this game is either going to be a game I pick up or when I watch someone else play, I mean...
Or it's like, everyone loves it, 10 out of 10's all around. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
great.
Yeah.
I wish I had time.
Right. All right.
The Gears trifecta coming up next.
Yeah, Gears 5, Gears Tactics, and Gears Pop. So that's a main game, a Windows game that's a top-down tactical game, and then a mobile game that uses pop figures for some reason.
Apparently, those are popular to some people.
Like Funko Pop?
Yes,
Funko Pop figure. Yeah.
That's an interesting design choice.
Exactly.
The only time I've ever heard anyone be like interested in those is the people who resell them, because they're like, I don't know, they kind of have that amiibo feature where it's like, oh, this one there's only 18 in this city. I'm going to sell it for $200 on eBay.
Oh,
and some idiot will buy it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also wondering why Xbox is pumping so much money into Gears. I didn't realize it was actually a popular franchise right now. Like, I guess they don't have that many like original IPs though, right? They just have Gears, Halo, and I think that's...
Forza.
Oh, and Forza. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe this makes Xbox a lot of money. I didn't actually think it did, but maybe it does.
Gears Tactics. I mean, probably another XCOM-like game.
Yeah, it's probably going to be easier than XCOM though, and they'll probably do something special with the cover mechanic because cover is sort of the main way you play Gears anyway.
Yeah. And then there's like a story trailer for Gears 5. I don't even know what's going on in the story right now.
I don't think the story even matters, honestly.
Is Coltrane still alive?
I couldn't even tell you. I have Gears 4 because of the Game Pass, but I haven't even played it. I didn't even touch Gears 3 either. Last Gears game I played was Gears 2.
I played Gears 1, and that was it. So
right.
Maybe we should just move on.
Coltrane was in Gears 2.
I've never played a single Gears game.
All right. Just Cause 4, nothing more to really say, but
explosions.
More explosions, new environments.
Hopefully it runs better than Just Cause 3 did.
Yeah, hopefully it runs well at launch. See, we got Dying Light 2.
I'm really excited for this.
Dying Light was an amazing game.
I think both of you guys played it. I haven't played it, but I watched my brother play it, and it looks pretty fun.
Yeah. It fits the criteria of a game that I love. Like, first person, you got parkour. Only problem with it, I feel like things went wrong a little too quickly. Like, you would get hit by an enemy, and then another one would hit you, and then you just like get disoriented, and then you're just dead. And there's nothing you can do to recover, really.
Ah, that makes sense.
And it was difficult. It was a really hard game. Jake, did you play any of the stuff after launch, like the DLC? Because I know that they did a crap ton of DLC.
Yeah, I actually played through all the expansions that they put out. I haven't played through any of this year. I know they had like a entire year of putting out free content, and I missed the latter half of that. But no, I did play all the earlier stuff, and it was all pretty good. The car expansion was a lot of fun. It opened up the game to an open world environment, and you got to build your own car that you could drive.
Modify spikes onto it and stuff.
Exactly, yeah, you could do that, and it was actually pretty in depth for a game that had no cars initially, and it had a pretty cool story to go along with it. So that was a lot of fun.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to it because it looks like they're going to do a little bit of a branching, like choices matter system, and apparently some of the writers from Witcher 3 are actually writing for the game.
Oh, so you mean the choices actually matter, unlike
maybe
Fallout choices matter?
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, they very much like said, "Oh, it's actually going to happen this time," but that's almost never true.
All right. Let's see. Up next,
Devil May Cry 3 or 5,
yeah.
the sequel to Devil May Cry 4, but somehow ignoring the Devil May Cry game. I've never played any of those before, so...
Yeah. Haven't touched them.
Oh, Session.
Okay, so Session, I have a bit to say about this.
Is this Skate 3, the game we never... Or Skate 4, I guess? Spiritual successor?
Not at all. But
right.
it was a Kickstarter game, actually, but this...
Oh, I have seen gameplay from this, okay.
This came up on the stream, and I was super hyped. There was no Skate 4 announcement at EA, but people were still suspecting that it might come around. And the second I saw a skateboard, I started yelling, Skate 4. But then the title screen Session came up. Heart sank. People say that the game isn't that good. Who knows? It might change a lot by the time it comes out, but...
Yeah, I've seen some gameplay of, like, the test ground they had. They actually, like, gave that out to Kickstarter backers, and it doesn't seem that clean. Like, there's problems with actually landing tricks. Like landing grinds, like, if you're not perfectly aligned, like, you just bail. So they don't have, like, sort of the snap system down completely yet. And also,
I didn't realize that it was already playable for some people.
Yeah. It's sort of like their internal build they just kind of released. Also, having some issues with actually gaining speed. So, I don't know. Jake, you played Skate. You can kind of just push wherever you are, and you get like an initial boost. This game, you kind of have to start from high ground and get sort of momentum build up, or if you are on flat ground, you can kind of build up speed. But really, the problem that they were having is some of the rails were too close to where you like can even start from. So, like, even if you're against the wall when you start pushing, some of the rails are too tall to even ollie up to. So, like, that stuff definitely needs to be fixed.
I mean, it's realistic, but realistic doesn't always mean fun.
Exactly.
It's more simmy than Skate is?
Yes. Which is kind of bad.
Yeah, I thought Skate was, like, a little bit, like, too simmy for me, personally. Because I'm a big fan of Tony Hawk back in the day.
Sure.
Well, I'm kind of disappointed then.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll probably see more gameplay. It is an Xbox exclusive, so
so Xbox and Windows.
Yeah, Xbox and Windows. We didn't talk about Tunic and Cuphead. Real quick. Tunic seems like a isometric Zelda game. Some puzzle stuff. The art looks great. I don't know if this game is really going to be something that I'm interested in, but I know Jake talked about it.
Yeah, I thought the trailer looked really cool. I'm big into Zelda-esque games, and this looks right up my alley.
Yeah. On to Cuphead. Cuphead DLC. That's always nice to see. Glad to see it didn't take another 7 years to get more content for this game. Really, my only criticism is no multiplayer announcement online. That'd be kind of the thing for me. It's really hard to find time to play this game with people, and multiplayer would be something that would really interest me. I know that we do have a workaround now with Parsec where you can like screen share with someone and play locally, but would be nice to have multiplayer in game. So some other announcements.
Another Tomb Raider.
Yeah, another Tomb Raider. I played the first one and half of the second one. Pretty good games. I like the combat system. A lot of the movement puzzles are pretty fun, and the game is a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. So it's a pretty long game. I thought the game was going to end when the first act ended, and it still had 2 more acts, so that was kind of cool to see.
I played a bit of the first one. I just really couldn't get into it. The combat wasn't like good enough for me, in my opinion.
Sure. And the story is kind of generic, you're just finding some cursed thing, and it seems to just screw you over everywhere you go.
I just love the
only formula they have.
The Conan video where she keeps getting impaled on the stick.
Oh,
That's
yes.
Video on YouTube.
I really like when you just get impaled on a random rod or something, and they show gory detail and like slow-mo and everything.
Yeah, I feel like it's some of it's like a little too much, honestly.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, that's something that they could have toned down on. And also, like, every time you die a lot in this game, so every time you die, you have a little 5 to 10 second cutscene of you dying. Just cut that out. Or at least show you it once and then not again. So we got a Black Desert port. for Xbox and Windows. Any thoughts?
Have you guys ever played Black Desert?
I have not.
I actually have. I actually have played Black Desert. It's just another like Korean MMO. It's very grindy, it seemed like, and kind of has some pay to win aspects.
Yeah, I think the only appeal was that it has like AAA level graphics for an MMO.
The combat is pretty good. It has an action combat system that's kind of different for an MMO.
Is it better than Terra?
It's similar in ways. I didn't really play too much Black Desert.
All right.
I just couldn't really get into it. But I know it didn't seem like much. But there was a Halo Infinite reveal, and it turns out that is actually Halo 6. It is the continuation of Master Chief's story.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited for Halo. I'm a big Halo fan.
And it will be on Windows
and Xbox. I'm really hoping that Halo Infinite has crossplay. Like, that would be great for my friends with Xboxes, and could play some Halo campaign just like the old days of couch co-op. It would be really nice to have something like that.
I hope they have good mouse input for the Windows.
Oh yeah,
they can screw it up so easily, and so many games do.
Yeah. Division 2. I guess we're getting a sequel to The Division for some unknown reason. First game didn't really perform that well in terms of sales.
It kind of had a long tail, though.
Oh, yeah. The once the DLC came out, kind of...
Yeah. I mean, it had a Battle Royale mode in it, pretty much.
True. It also had, some whales, I think, that kind of kept the game afloat for a while. But yeah, it looks like sort of just same Division, just a different area to play in. I think they're in DC this time around. Yeah,
so that looks pretty cool.
City. Which is kind of cool because, you got a lot of open areas now instead of just buildings everywhere. So stuff looks less samey. But yeah, I mean, if they make some of the co-op modes more accessible, a little bit more fun, less grindy, then I think it'll stick for some people, But this is not a game I'm really interested in.
Happy Viewed had another trailer for their story mode.
Yeah, I thought this game already came out, but apparently it didn't.
No, it came out in early. So what happened was, the We Happy Few, they came out with this like cool, interesting story trailer, which was like a story mode inside of their open world survival game kind of thing. And no, people expected the story mode like BioShock, but instead they got a game like Rust. So everyone was disappointed in it, and they're like, "Okay, you guys don't like this. We understand. We're gonna dial back on the survival mechanics, and we're going to focus and create a new mode specifically for story." So they're kind of creating their own more linear story-based mode. That was the trailer for it.
So are they removing the random elements of it?
No, I think what they're doing is they're just creating a mode which focuses more on narrative, maybe a little bit shorter, less repeatable, but more just kind of like dealing with the world. But it'll still, I think, have some mechanics of survival in there, but they just won't be as prevalent as the mode that they released in early access.
I didn't realize that it was, survival style game. I did hear complaints about from reviewers saying that they couldn't even focus on the story because they were too worried about managing their happiness or whatever the pills are or whatever. So they as soon as they start to get into the story, they need to go and take their pills, or else the game becomes too difficult to even navigate around. So I'm glad that they're putting the story mode in first. I don't know why they marketed the game as a BioShock story game and then delivered something else.
Well, they never did that. They're just like, we have an interesting world, and people kind of looked at it the wrong way. But the problem is...
The trailer was heavily influenced by BioShock, regardless of the gameplay.
I mean, I thought the trailer way back when was actually really cool, so if they make it more like that, I guess it could be worth checking out.
Yeah. PUBG trailer for Xbox. This was probably the most unrealistic trailer I think I've seen in years.
It needs more stutter, more lag.
Right?
More
buildings
buildings,
that
less
don't load
people at the same time.
They did say that they're releasing Sandhawk, the new Savage map, on this summer. So that means that it'll probably come out on PC pretty soon. Because they did release Miramar a couple months after it got released on PC. And they also teased a snow map by showing some legs and some snow. So I guess we're getting a snow map. So that'll be fun.
Even less for them to render. Hopefully the frame rate will be good.
Yeah, this game really needs something. Maybe they get the development team from Tencent to help them out, but the Xbox port is kind of lackluster. I wonder if it runs better on Xbox One X. I've heard that you can get locked 60 FPS on Xbox One X, but that's kind of ridiculous that you need the new console to play a game that doesn't even look that great. Yeah. Any thoughts?
I don't see this ever returning to the place it's been. Ever.
Oh, you mean PUBG in terms
PUBG.
of popularity? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the problem with the game is it doesn't offer any sort of progression mechanics or any sort of game outside of the game. I mean, Fortnite with the Battle Pass looks like Realm Royale's going to have a Battle Pass. I can only assume that the other AAA Battle Royale games are going to do a Battle Pass. And, PUBG, their advantage is that they have maps, but delaying the maps longer and longer and not having any out-of-game content kind of is going to turn people off. And especially for new players, this game isn't accessible in the slightest. So,
yeah,
I hope they work on accessibility. I hope they work on gamifying the game and making some sort of progression. Getting crates that you need to buy keys for isn't fun.
No, especially when you open the crate and you get like a shirt.
Exactly.
Whereas in like Fortnite, you open the crate and you get this like crazy Tomato Man costume. And at least, like, it's visible from more than 3 feet away, unlike every single cosmetic in PUBG.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, they had the Shroud and Dr. Disrespect skins, but that's kind of, like, just not enough. Yeah, so, I mean, PUBG just need more meaningful content. I think the game can stay around, or they're gonna slack and get destroyed by AAA titles that have similar Battle Royale offerings, Alright, so Forza 4? You guys care about Forza at all?
Nope.
Not at all.
Yeah, so more racing. I'm pretty sure they showed even more rain in the trailer, because that's what you showed in a racing game. Exactly. Dynamic weather. Yeah, doesn't really matter. Sea of Thieves. We got some Sea of Thieves DLC.
Let's just move on.
I
don't care.
This looks like stuff that should have been released when the game got released, and now they're releasing it, so...
I don't think anyone... Like, the 15 people playing the game right now are probably really excited.
Yeah,
Guys, it has really good water.
Just keep in mind, those are free updates, though, so they're not charging for them. Which is
I
good.
think really this has the same problem with PUBG is you have no meaningful content out of cosmetic items that you can even unlock. So even after you do something like the Megalodon fight, all you do is get a Megalodon for the front of your ship, and that's it.
Yes,
so
that. When I saw, we'll talk about later, Skulls and Shackles or whatever that is, and it's like, oh, you're gonna upgrade these cannons, or like switch this out and switch this out for your ship. I'm like, oh, that's what you needed to like Sea of Thieves. I don't.
Yeah.
And introduce another enemy besides skeletons, please.
Yep. Kingdom Hearts 3. We've been seeing gameplay footage for this game for the last 5 years now, and we finally got a release date for January 29th. Yeah, you could have pre-ordered this game like 5 years ago, actually, which is kind of ridiculous. But we're finally getting Kingdom Hearts. I've played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, so this is another main game. We had a bunch of releases on Game Boy and 3DS. DS, I guess. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts, it's essentially, if you haven't played it, it's an ARPG, and you just go around into different Disney movies, and they have their own environments. Looks like they're adding some Pixar stuff, so, we have Toy Story in this one. We have...
Monsters
Inc. Alright. We've got Pirates of the Caribbean with a, CGI Jack Sparrow. That's kind of cool. Yeah, and really, it's just Final Fantasy characters in a Disney game. You know, you got Mickey Mouse, you got Goofy and Donald Duck are in your little party.
Do people really want this game?
I like it.
Do they want it, or do they think they want it? Is my question.
I think it's more of a they think they want it. Honestly, these games are fun, really, just for
8-year-olds
getting to. No, it's kind of cool getting to play around in a movie environment. That's kind of the appeal to me. Is you have these character interactions with characters that never have interactions. So actually, there are like, it's the most ambitious crossover. You do actually have interactions of characters between the movie worlds too. So.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah.
Speaking of ambitious crossovers, what do you think the possibility of Marvel or Star Wars being in this game?
Not happening.
You don't
Not
think...
in this game.
I mean, they're Disney properties now.
But they don't associate themselves with Disney.
Yeah.
They don't show Disney when you watch a Marvel movie.
Yeah, I think the qualifier is the Disney title card, the castle and everything. But that would be cool to see. I mean, honestly,
I just saw a bunch of people speculating. I don't know. I think it'd be cool.
Maybe if they the thing is, they don't need to try to bait people in with things like that, because they already have a committed fan base that will pretty much buy this game.
Yeah. There's people that will buy this game regardless of what they show.
So they don't need to try to get the big guns out yet. Maybe in 14 years, when Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out, they'll have, Luke and Leia in there or something.
Also, the fun thing about this game is you can play it with Japanese voice acting, so you can hear all of your favorite Disney characters speak Japanese. Toy Story characters just shouting Japanese at each other. What more could you want?
Metro is what's up next.
Oh, yeah, Metro.
I played Last Light. I really, really liked Last Light.
Is this a continuation of the story?
I'm not sure.
All right.
I honestly don't even remember the story. I just like the gameplay mechanics and the atmosphere.
This one's open world, right?
I think it's a semi-open world.
Yeah. There was that one trailer they showed with the subway train or whatever. Looks like you can go around to different cities and you can have your base or whatever, go explore somewhere during the day, and then you have to go back at night so you don't get murked.
I kind of liked the level progression in Metro. You occasionally visited areas you previously were, but most of the time you were somewhere new, which I like.
That's good. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about the open world bit of it. Well, I mean, open world is kind of a misnomer.
Yeah.
It's like a connection,
Sure.
Collection of interconnected levels, right?
Yeah. Non-linear levels equals open world. So.
Which it doesn't, but
yeah. Crackdown 3. So the trailer we got looks like Terry Crews the game, but I don't know. It looks goofy like the original Crackdown games. It looks kind of just like a generic sort of shooter, but is given personality by the voice acting and the characters. So, what do you guys think?
I don't know. Is Crackdown a popular series at all? I think people only bought the first one to get into the Halo 3 beta.
I don't know how popular Crackdown was.
I think it's relatively popular. It's a pretty successful open world kind of destruction game, in the vein of what's that game where you destroy things on Mars? Red Faction, kind of like that.
Oh, okay.
But it's kind of more of the superhero. So think about Spider-Man 2 or 3, and it's kind of a combination of that.
I think it also has sort of a cult following now too. I think it has gained more popularity after the initial release. People going back and playing it and liking it. So, the Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. So this is a Xbox published indie game.
Have you guys played or seen the Life is Strange games?
Yeah, I played through the first Life is Strange.
I can't stomach it.
You don't like it?
No.
Do you think it's too hella cool, Cooper?
Yeah, and by that, if you mean the opposite of that,
teenage cringe,
teenage angst. I like watching other people make fun of it as they play it. That is where I get my humor from the game.
I'm definitely gonna try it because it's completely free. So
Yeah.
See,
but it is Xbox One only, so not Windows. Yeah.
Yeah,
So this is
it'll
something I'll have
be there
to-
eventually.
Yeah, play when I go home for the holidays or something. My brother's.
We'll talk about Fallout when we get to the Bethesda conference.
Yeah. As well as Serico Shadows Die Twice.
Sekiro.
Sekiro. More Souls games from.
Yeah.
Even though it's not very Soulsy, but
Yeah, they did say it's not going to be like a Souls game, which is refreshing, I guess.
I could play a
Tastes
new
gonna do
Souls
something
game
new.
every year for the rest of my life, probably.
Sure. Looks like some cool movement mechanics too.
Yeah.
We got a grappling hook, and
Which is good because that's the weakest part of most of the Souls games.
Yeah.
Is you have a dodge roll. That's it. You don't have any kind of long movement. There's not a lot of like making use of your environments, except for you backpedal into an alley where you can fight them one at a time.
Did they show that you have those movement opportunities in combat, or was it only when you're
Both.
traveling? Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's also good because it allows for new types of enemies. You can have enemies that chase after you. A lot more so now that you can run away from them faster.
I'm kind of wondering if it isn't like Metroidvania-esque in where you'll get different abilities that will open up new areas. I know they were talking about like specific shinobi paths that you can take, so I wonder if you need to
I bet you the shinobi paths are like the progression trees. That's how they're probably going to do it.
It would be nice to have a game that has more accessible leveling than Souls. Souls, you kind of have to learn how the game even works before you can even delve into the leveling system.
Yeah, but it's rewarding when that happens, I think.
Sure,
and they definitely streamlined it a lot in the later games. Like in the original game, you had to like level up your weapons and your armor. In the later games,
yeah.
just
Dark
your
Souls
weapons.
3 has definitely fixed a lot of the sort of accessibility problems from the first two games.
Didn't they say that there was no character leveling in this game?
Well, not leveling, but sort of like how progression works.
Yeah.
So,
and if you said they talked about different paths you can take,
like paths in the level, like
okay,
okay.
That's
okay.
what I meant by like Metroidvania. Like if you get attachments for your arm that allow different paths throughout a level,
that would be cool. And then maybe you choose the paths based on like maybe you don't know what path you take before you choose the ability. That'd be kind of cool too. So it's like a pick without knowing, and then go through the level, and then see that you got this now because you made this decision. That would help with replayability.
I feel like those games are pretty replayable, though. Well, I mean, at least the original Souls games were. Yeah. Different builds. I mean, meant completely different ways to approach combat.
Yeah. And then I guess the last thing we should talk about is Shadows Die Twice. So it looks like you have a
Wait.
We just talked about
Shadows No, I'm saying the actual mechanic that you die twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so it looks like you get revived when you die, which is kind of interesting.
Wow. Hopefully they have a mode where you Shadows die once. For the hardcore players.
I wonder if this is similar to how Souls works, where maybe instead of bonfires throughout the level, maybe now you only get that one life and you have to start the level over. So maybe shorter levels.
I hope they kind of experiment with that whole, like, the game you can afford to die once, and they do that with interesting mechanics. So, like, rewarding you for not dying once, maybe, like, having secrets where you, like, do this certain thing.
Once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe, like, when you die once, your gameplay kind of changes and your build changes with that. That could be interesting. I feel like there's a lot of ways they could take that.
Oh, like having an alt build for your first
death
or whatever.
Or, like, maybe you get faster but weaker, or maybe you have to, like, take more risks if you die before.
Yeah. Alright. Yeah, what else? Next up, we got Ori and the Will of the Wisps. So
did you guys play the original Ori?
Did not.
I played a little bit of the first one. It was a beautiful game.
It looks really good. The platforming is kind of a little bit too floaty for me personally.
All right.
Like it's a lot of it's physics based, which is impressive because that's really hard to do in like a meaningful platforming way.
Sure.
But I prefer little tighter controls. Also, I played it on the hardest difficulty, which was a big mistake. It just wasn't fun.
All right.
Like you would die and you wouldn't get a respawn point, and then you'd have to do it again, and then you'd like do a bad jump.
Okay.
I made the mistake there. Play it for the graphics. Play it for the mobility. Don't play it for the difficulty, because it's already pretty freaking hard.
All right.
But this one looks a lot better.
It looks beautiful, honestly. All right. So I think that wraps up Xbox.
Yeah, we got a trailer for Halo, what we talked about, but that was it.
Yeah, it looks like a new engine, stuff. You got some deer. There's gonna be.
We got some freaking buff deer, man.
It's interesting that the deer actually confirmed what Halo ring it's on, because in the lore there is one specific Halo ring that has those deer on it.
Oh, cool.
I'm pretty
Nice.
sure it's Installation 07. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know.
I couldn't correct you, but that's cool that
They're
they
swole.
put that little teaser in there for people. All right. Yeah, let's move on to our next conference.
Bethesda?
Yeah, Bethesda. So
All right.
Bethesda coming out, strong this year.
I'm pumped for everything Bethesda.
All right, let's start with Elder Scrolls 6 announcement.
Let's go backwards.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they started with Rage 2. Did you guys watch the conference?
Yes, I did actually.
Okay, the freaking they brought Michael WD, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious. They panned to like the audience. The audience was just like, "What the hell is going on?" It was so funny. But I'm really looking forward to Rage 2. It looks like they got some kind of like doomy mechanics in there that encourages you to get out of cover and like really get like fighting people.
Yeah.
Explosions.
This game looks really good. It looks not just like the first game, but it looks how the first game looked when that got announced. You know what I mean? Like, it looked to me how that game looked. Like, wow, these
like,
graphics are
how it was
impressive.
going to look.
Yeah, exactly.
It's,
Honestly, my only wish is that the game is longer, because Rage was notably extremely short.
they're actually switching developers to Avalanche as well. So like the creators of Just Cause.
Okay.
And
Yes.
also
Aren't
the Mad Max
Mad
games.
Max. Yeah, Mad Max is the big one.
Nice. Id Software did the first one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving forward, we got just a quick teaser for Doom, Hell on Earth.
Yeah, Hell on Earth.
well,
Doom
it's called
Eternal.
Doom Eternal, but it might as well be Hell on Earth.
Yeah, my little quick note there was this is just something that I thought is probably going to be good, but it looks like Bethesda is pleased with their Switch releases with Skyrim and Doom, and they're also coming out with Wolfenstein. So it looks like this is also coming out to Switch, which means Bethesda likes how the sales have been going and continued AAA support for Switch. So it's always good to see third-party developers.
Did you get Doom for the
on
Switch?
Switch? I didn't actually get Doom for the Switch because I already own it on PC.
Yeah,
but
I would not want to play this on a console,
yeah.
even with gyro controls.
It's good for people that only have the Switch. But yeah, I
Yeah,
understand. And they did actually get it playable. So
yeah, it's pretty impressive. They got a solid 30.
all right, next up.
All right, Prey Moon Crash and the new DLC they announced as well. So they announced survival mode, which is like you can play the game again, but there's like mechanics that like different ways you can get damaged,
Okay.
and like things that add more variation, which is definitely well wanted for the single player because you kind of get in a comfort zone for that game,
Sure.
and it'll definitely add some more variability for replays because a lot of times you just kind of get the best way to do something like.
And they already
get to
released
stick
this,
with
right?
it. Oh yeah, they already released this.
All right. Have you played it
so, yeah, so that was just the survival mode for the
Okay.
for the old game. Then they also announced and released New Game Plus, which is I definitely wanted to keep my my mods over to the New Game Plus, so I could just be more powerful.
Oh,
Then
cool.
they added story mode, which is just pretty much like super easy mode, where you don't have to worry about killing anything.
Nice.
So
which is good. Yeah, go ahead.
So like, what is the game loop of Prey? I don't really know anything
So
about it.
it's kind of like BioShock. So most people speculate that the original name for Prey was Psychoshock, but that's a horrible name.
Of course.
But that's what they were at least going to call it.
Who's the developer?
It is
Arcane. Arcane Studios. Okay, Dishonored devs. All right.
yeah, Dishonored devs. But yeah, so those were the 3 new modes added for free, and then they released the DLC called Moon Crash, which I already played and already beat.
Cool.
It's a roguelite mode, kind of.
Hmm.
So the way that it works is there are 4 different survivors aboard this moon base, and so when you die or escape, you switch to a different survivor, but they exist in the same world. So everything you looted is gone, everything you killed is dead, but some things respawn every time the world gets more corrupted. So as you play the game and as you take more and more time, everything gets harder. So it's kind of, I really, really like what they did with it, because a lot of times, like I said earlier, you kind of get in this, like, oh, this is my comfort zone, I know how to do this, and then it just kind of gets boring. But because you have 5 different characters, and the 5 different characters all have their own mods that they can get, it definitely spices the gameplay up quite a bit. However, I just finished it, so they have like these meta progression elements to it, which reward you for beating it more and more. You get more rewards, which you can persistent upgrades for your 5 survivors. But
cool.
They made a huge mistake with the game, and it's actually kind of ruined it for me, because when you unlock all the story objectives and then do the final mission, it kind of has like this like simulation overhead to it, where you play as a guy who's kind of going through all of these realities and playing as the 5 survivors. He like finishes his mission, and then the game ends, and you can't ever access the simulations ever again. So all your progression is lost, and in order to keep playing, you have to start over, which is the stupidest thing.
Yeah, that doesn't make
for
any
a roguelite mode.
They pulled a Fallout 3 with it.
No, I mean, like, okay, because for Fallout 3, you can load your last save and play throughout the world, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The second you do this, you're locked out. You can't go back.
So it's even worse.
I don't understand, because there's even achievements for like obtaining all of the neuromods for all of the characters, and I can't do that anymore because I beat the game. What were they thinking? I honestly don't know how they managed to fuck that up so bad. I hope they fix that in a patch where you can just load your successful save and then play from there, because I really want to go through and I really want to like become a master with all of these 5 characters, but I can't.
Sure.
Come on, seriously.
Yeah, it seems like definitely an oversight. Why? Yeah.
I mean,
you
like,
should
it was
be rewarded
cool
with being able to play the stuff you missed. But...
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
And the whole point of a roguelike mode is it's infinitely replayable, right?
Yeah.
And the whole point of the progression is it sticks around.
Mm-hmm.
But nope. They kind of give you like a little bit of a warning. But I thought that they wouldn't do it, but they did. So there's my rant. You were talking about the cycle. It's kind of the world is set, so it's a fixed world. But the roguelite elements kind of modify how you travel through the world. Like, for example, some doors will be broken and you have to find alternate routes, or maybe like this one wing is covered in radiation, so you have to like dart between areas that are safe from the radiation. Definitely adds a lot of unique situations which you wouldn't find yourself in for the previous game. And then with the added element that if you die, you're dead for good, it definitely makes it more interesting. So yeah, there's my review. It took about 10 hours for me to beat all of the meta missions, which I think is pretty good. I wish it would have been harder, because I only died once ever. I only ever in a roguelike game. I only died once. That's a problem.
Death should be the core mechanic.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe I'm just too good.
Yeah. So what next? Wolfenstein.
Yeah, I didn't
Right.
play Wolfenstein 2. Did either of you?
I was actually waiting for it to come out on Switch. I like to
I'm
play-
waiting for it to go on sale.
Yeah, it seems like a more story-driven game than Doom, so I'm totally fine with playing that on the plane. That's kind of like my Switch long-form games. I like to play on the plane. So
Yep.
yeah,
They're doing kind of like the one spin-off they did. What was it called? Where you raided the castle? The Old Blood? Was that it? Wolfenstein
yeah,
Old
the
Blood?
Old Blood. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're kind of doing the same thing, it looks like.
All right. Yeah. So Wolfenstein.
Or it might be fully featured instead.
This has been pretty popular for a lot of people. They like how the series has been going, so I think they're just trying to keep those fans happy. Quake Champions. This is a game that's been out.
I don't think anyone's playing it. I don't think anyone really cares.
Yeah, it got a release date during the conference, but honestly,
it's been early access. No one's really been interested in it, in my opinion. It looks kind of just like it's a Quake game, but with heroes.
Yep. All right, next up.
Fallout 76.
Yeah, so they did the announcement. Not announcement, but another trailer as well as a post-conference gameplay.
Did you watch the
session.
conference?
I watched the conference trailer, but I didn't watch the
Okay.
post
It's like a good 30 minutes of Todd Howard on stage talking about the game.
All right.
So you kind of have to watch the conference
Yeah.
to get the gist of what's going on there.
All right. So what are the main points taken away from this game?
It's going to focus entirely. It's like multiplayer is going to be the driving feature.
All right.
Which a lot of people were salty about, but they got to keep in mind this is a spin-off game. This isn't a core Fallout game at all.
Okay.
It is not supposed to be a successor to Fallout 4. I think
okay.
they took it in the right direction, and that's they realized Fallout 4 had a good loop going, and that loop is like you want to build up your base, so you go out into the world and you kill stuff, and then you get ingredients that you use to go back to your base, and you expand it, and that's kind of like the Fallout loop. And I feel like they really nailed it in Fallout 4, especially because they made combat fun and good. So they're making the game kind of built all around that loop, but in multiplayer.
Okay.
So I'm really excited. Personally,
it looks like a good game. I saw it getting some flack because people were making the comparison to Elder Scrolls Online, but Fallout 76 is nothing like what Elder Scrolls Online is to the Elder Scrolls.
Sure.
It's not an MMO at all. It's more of an MMO light.
Yeah. It's kind of like a
Fallout Rust.
Yeah, but I think the matchmaking is kind of, you don't go on a server. It just kind of like hooks people together, kind of like Dark Souls.
The preferred way of playing a game like Rust, so you don't get thrown in with a bunch of randos you're never even gonna have fun playing with.
It doesn't do that. Well, you get to choose your teammates, but the people in the world are random, which
that's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna cause some great emergent moments, in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good for streaming, because there can be some random stuff, but you can also, most of the time you're playing with your friends.
I like the idea that you're hunkered down in this area and these people are shooting mini nukes at you, and you have to escape through this back route, and then you get at the high ground or something like that. Stuff like that.
It has a really fun combat system too, so I feel like in a multiplayer setting it could be very rewarding. My biggest thing I wanted from this game is I want crossplay. My brother loves Fallout series, and I like it too, so it'd be kind of cool to play with him. I have no hopes, but
they specifically said that if it happens, it'll be way after the launch.
Sure.
Do you guys know No Clip, the documentary series?
Yeah, I actually watched it.
You watched?
I watched the Fallout 76 one.
Nice. Yeah, that gave a lot of insight.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring up something from it that they talked about. I think the mythos inside of this game is really cool. What they're doing with the rad creatures. They're all based on actual myths from the West Virginia area. So Mothman and the big, I don't know what it's called, but the giant white hulking monster that was in the trailer, those are all like actual myths of West Virginia.
Oh, that's dope.
So
Yeah.
I think it's really cool that they're adding that in.
Yeah,
There's a
that
lot
seems
of
like
cool
sort of
lore there.
Red Dead Redemption, the like zombie mod that added mythical creatures, kind of similar to that. Yeah, I mean, Fallout 3, oh gosh, what is his name? The Wandering Stranger or whatever. Like, those random encounters are hilarious. So it's kind of to see, like, it'll be cool to see, some weird stuff you can find. And it does add some sort of, like, plus content to the actual just core gameplay.
Yeah, I'm. Hopefully, we can get like a good group going, because apparently, the way that it works is you have these cards which you equip to your character, and then that kind of customizes your build. So, for example, everyone in your party gets 50% more HP from Stimpaks or something like that. And instead of having each person have one level of the card, you can have one person have 3 levels of the card, which like kind of benefits everyone more. So it encourages specialization.
Yeah. That's cool, because that's essentially like MMO classes, but you don't have to decide a class, and then you can change your class, as you play the game and see what you like.
You can trade and you can swap them, which is cool.
Sweet. Can you trade with randos?
That's a good question. I don't think they answered that.
That'd be kind of fun if you walk out in the middle of nowhere and just turn on all chat and start bartering with some random people.
Yeah, I know that you're gonna be able to I know that you will be able to trade with random people, because they want people to like sort of take the roles of NPCs in this game. So you can set up a shop even, I heard, and
cool.
sell items.
So when the 20 or so people in a server get merged together, what it does is it combines all of your establishments and puts them all in the world. So your house could be like, when you get back to it, a dude could be there because he just found it, for example. Which could be interesting, because he could be, like looking at I think what you can do is you can set up machines, is at least what they were talking about. You can set up machines that you put your loot that you want to sell into, and then people that visit your house can use that machine to buy things.
That's awesome. That's honestly, a lot of people play Fallout games as role-playing games. Like, they are RPGs, but like a lot of people get really... They kind of make their own sort of role-playing.
Yeah.
They make up their own character mythos and stuff. So it's kind of cool to see that they're actually adding features to support that style of gameplay.
Yeah, they could easily flub it up real bad. If they have bad internet problems...
Oh, there's so many things that could go wrong with this game.
If they have, if the end game gets too repetitive, if, the scaling is bad, they're walking a fine line.
Yep. Yeah, they have to start dealing with all the multiplayer problems where, you could play for 10 minutes and love the game. You could play for 10 minutes and never want to play it again.
Yeah.
So
I think what's gonna really keep this game alive is gonna be emergent moments that happen, as well as getting a good group of friends together that you have good synergy with.
Yeah. Hopefully the game is honestly, if it's moderately fun with random people, and then has good netcode and stuff, then that means it'll be really fun with good people to play with, and random moments will happen. So, all right. Well, any last thoughts?
I don't think so.
All right. Next up, you want to do... Oh, I guess we should also mention Fallout Shelter got a Switch release and PS4, and it's already been on mobile, but they just dropped it on those consoles for fun. So yeah, free-to-play game. It's got some in-game transactions. But
did you guys play the game when it came out?
Didn't actually play it.
I played it for a couple of weeks after it came out. It was a bit of fun. Eventually decided to uninstall it because it didn't have enough going for it. But I think I might look at it again later.
Yeah. Okay.
Another mobile game?
Start
Blades?
with Elder Scrolls Blades. So this is a mobile Elder Scrolls game. It's supposed to be in the vein of Skyrim.
It kind of reminds me of Infinity Blade, but with worse combat and better exploration.
Sure. Yeah.
It's actually, I'd say it's more in the vein of Elder Scrolls 2, Daggerfall.
Dude, I love Daggerfall.
It has randomly generated like dungeons as well as like set dungeons.
That's good because they can appear to have more content without actually having to develop more content. And then keep the game from getting stale.
I hope this game comes out of the gate strong. Because I can definitely see that this is like, oh, this is something we're going to be building on over the course of a couple, months.
Yeah.
But I just like can't commit to a mobile game like that because then bad things start to happen with like the premium currency and all that.
I'm pretty sure it actually is coming to consoles and as well as VR. So
yeah, they're going to put it on everything.
Yeah, which means hey, Switch game. So always nice to see a Switch game. All right. Yeah, so we got Elder Scrolls Blades. We might as well talk about Elder Scrolls 6. We got a teaser trailer that shows some mountains and an ocean, which, started some speculation of where the game could be taking place. And really, this is just not anything to do with the release date, but it's really just to say, hey, we're working on it.
It's probably either Hammerfell or High Rock.
All right. Yeah.
I'd say it's
or both.
Minimum of 5 years out.
Yeah.
I expect that we're going to get it on the 22nd day of the 22nd month of 2022.
That'd be cool.
What? What? Explain to me.
I see you.
Okay.
Yeah, we're never getting it. No. It'll... let's see. Honestly...
So, I don't think you watched did you watch like the after show interview with Todd Howard?
I did not.
Okay, so Starfield, which we'll talk about next, is currently playable, whereas the Elder Scrolls 6 is in pre-development, so it's not currently playable.
I see you.
So
yeah, so really just getting writing and stuff. And...
yeah, I imagine that they'll like tease it again next year, and then they'll tease it again the next year, and then the following year they'll release it.
Do you think that means that they're developing a new engine right now?
They're probably just going to expand on the Gamebryo engine, I'm assuming.
Okay.
They didn't actually explicitly state.
Yeah.
The communities don't appear to understand what engines are. Because everyone's like, yes. You need to get a new engine. It's like, you don't
you don't acquire a new engine. I mean, unless you're using Unreal. But even then, you need to wait for them to update it. And
you get engineers to build engines, and they expand upon previous engines. Exactly. It's probably going to be a modified Gamebryo engine, because I think, to my knowledge, the Gamebryo engine is the only engine that has persistence in the same way that all the previous Elder Scrolls work with. Okay. The idea that you pick up a rock and you move it, and then you come back 15 hours later and it's still there. Yeah. That's not something you get in any other game.
When you drop all of your jewels in Skyrim into Miko's shack and you come in and the game lags because there's 10,000 gems on top of each other trying to calculate physics. Yeah, you can do stuff like that.
If you want to keep being able to do that, it's going to have to be the Gamebryo engine.
Yeah, so Elder Scrolls 6 is kind of cool. Also, Skyrim Very Special Edition. This was a meme. Bethesda finally admitted that they put Skyrim on everything, so we got Skyrim on Alexa, also making fun of Skyrim
which turns out
smart
is a real thing.
It turns out that's a real thing.
Yeah, so they actually did make this an Alexa app, which is interesting. It's kind of fun. They probably had some interns make this, but yeah.
Yeah, or just some writers that were bored in their downtime.
That's true. I guess you don't actually have to do voice acting if you make Alexa narrate the whole thing. So.
Yeah, Alexa will talk for you.
Starfield. Yeah, Cooper, you wanna?
Yeah, so Starfield is the newest IP from Bethesda. They haven't released a new IP in 25 years, and that was with Elder Scrolls Arena, which came out a long ass time ago. So it's definitely interesting. I don't really know how they're going to go about doing it, because, Fallout and Elder Scrolls has the very strict, you're stuck on this continent and you can't go outside this continent, but you can do whatever you want inside this continent, right? Or like this city or this whatever. I don't know how they're going to move that over to a full universe scale. I don't know, because they're not going to be able to do. If they're going to make it a game like Fallout or a game like The Elder Scrolls Online, at least a little bit, they're going to have to restrict you somehow. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So unless the you can go everywhere on the planet, but the planet is really small, I don't really see the way that the game is going to work at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I definitely understand that. Maybe they'll try and separate the level into certain biomes or something. So maybe you can only be in one biome at a you can only see the people in this biome, and then when you transfer to a different biome or something, it changes or something like that. But yeah.
And I don't think they're going to do procedural with it, because that would probably be just a No Man's Sky situation.
I don't think Bethesda really likes the idea of procedural anything. So, other than Elder Scrolls Blades, with the dungeons, but they're kind of the masters of creating a.
But I guess that's exactly what Daggerfall was, just procedural dungeons, as far as the eye could see. Mm-hmm. What they did was they had pre-existing modules that they stuck together.
Okay.
Randomly. I think that's the end of the Bethesda conference.
Yeah. So, if you guys want to take a break, then we'll continue talking about the next stuff.
All right. We'll be back in a second. All right, welcome back. So we're going to dive right into Ubisoft? Is that correct?
Yep, looks like Ubisoft is next.
All right, so,
wait. The game we've all been waiting for?
Yes.
Just Dance 2019.
We are finally getting Just Dance 2019. Guess what, guys? It's coming to the Wii. Can you believe it?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, honestly. There's a lot of people that actually buy. So I do know that there's a lot of people that still buy PS3 and Wii and Xbox 360, because if you have little kids, they're not gonna know the difference between the new stuff and the old stuff. So you can buy an old console and stuff. Just have them play it.
Yeah, it's great for grandmas and mothers.
Yeah,
all around the world.
We got a Trials game, which is coming out on PS4, Xbox, Switch, and Windows, which is kind of cool.
I love the Trials series.
Yeah, the most recent one was a bit of a bust, right? The future one?
Trials Evolution? I still thought it was pretty good.
No, there was one after Trials Evolution.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah.
I completely missed that one.
Yeah, exactly. Trials Evolution is fun. And that game had a cool workshop mode and everything, so you could play custom levels.
Yeah, it was Trials Fusion.
Yeah.
That was the one that kind of somehow managed to be worse than Trials Evolution.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is interesting.
Rainbow Six. So this was actually just a sort of developer behind the scenes thing. It's cool to see more development. They actually just came out with a new expansion, but this game's going strong. The community behind it really loves it, and it's cool to see a game that was almost dead be so strong now.
Yeah, new heroes are a little bit too powerful in my opinion, but that's just kind of the reaction most people get to new heroes, because they don't know how to respond to them yet, right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. They don't seem to be OP or anything and really need balance changes, but they're just kind of hard to play against because people don't know what their counters are.
All right, I think they do need a balance change if they're going to be balanced against a guy that has a hammer. I can create mimics that when people shoot reveal themselves, so I can hit things.
Yeah, I think the only balance change that could come out is they're just going to reduce the number of holograms the new character can place from 3 to 2.
They should make it so when you enter the space of a hologram, it doesn't reveal you, because I feel like that's already a little bit. That's too much.
Yeah. Beyond Good and Evil 2. So we got another trailer, and we also got a little bit of gameplay. Not anything spectacular, like 30 seconds, but it's some pre-alpha footage of what the game looks like in engine. This is a game that came out on PS2.
Did you guys play Beyond Good and Evil?
What is Beyond Good and Evil?
It's just a story-driven game with weird characters. But yeah, just kind of was a cult classic. And they're working on a second one for some reason.
It's just an action-adventure game,
nostalgia. Right? Yeah, exactly.
You play as a girl who is friends with a bunch of animal people.
Yeah. That's it. So we'll see how that goes. Probably it won't come out for like another 3 or 4 years. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, Division 2 we already talked about. Another Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle expansion. So this
is it not the first one?
It is the first one.
Already came out. Yeah. Never mind. This already came out. So, yep. So just more content for that game. People love it. I have it. I don't know. It's just easier XCOM. So for me, it's not as fun. But it's a cool tactics game. It's super accessible, and they do a really good job with the tutorials and stuff. Skull and Bones. So Cooper, you were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, I really liked Assassin's Creed 4. I thought the ship combat was a lot of fun. To play devil's advocate to myself, I felt like the ship combat in combination with the fact that you boarded and could fight as a character was a big part of the game, whereas Skull and Bones is just you're the people on the ship. But
can you?
But I feel like if go ahead.
So you can't jump between ships, right?
You can board, but it's just you boarded. It determines, as far as I know, who won the combat.
Oh yeah, okay. That'd be kind of cool if they added another layer. But yeah, I mean, it looks good. I'm glad that they decided to take the feedback from people loving the ship combat in AC4.
I know it's kind of a meme, but I feel like they could actually do a battle royale mode.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so this is a multiplayer game.
Yes, this is entirely. I think they are going to have a single player campaign, or maybe just co-op missions.
Yep.
But it is a multiplayer game.
Yeah, it looks like Sea of Thieves, but way more combat, less cartoony, less focused on quests.
Yeah, and more focused on ship progression. I
don't know if you guys have ever played World of Warships. Looks kind of similar to that combat.
Did you guys play Pirates Gold?
I have not. That's like the Verdun game, right?
No,
it's kind of like that.
It's maybe it looks like it.
Is it Source? Is it Source?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sid Meier's Pirates Gold was originally released in 1993.
Yeah.
On DOS, but it is a combat trading game kind of, and it has this kind of combat, but a little bit less in depth, where it also has diplomacy and trading and that kind of stuff. That's an amazing game.
There was an indie game on PC that's in Source Engine that kind of has, it looks like this, but not as polished, not even close. So,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You bring up a battle royale mode, which is kind of interesting because there actually is a ship battle royale game on the market at the moment.
What is it called?
I don't remember. I'm trying to look it up right now. But I definitely remember seeing one recently. I'll get back to you on the name of that.
All right.
Okay. Is it Maelstrom?
Yeah, Maelstrom. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I've not heard of it.
You've not heard of it? Even though you brought up the name of it?
I just Googled Pirate Battle Royale and Maelstrom was the first thing.
Yeah, that's what came up for me as well. But yeah.
So next up, we'll just go through these three quickly. So For Honor Marching Fire, it looks like some For Honor DLC. This game's kind of dead though, so who knows. And then Starter Edition free until June 18th, 2018. So I think
Rip.
Yeah.
For Honor was my most disappointing purchase of 2017.
Yeah, it had really bad networking issues, and the gameplay loop could be like easily exploited by just ganging up on one person.
Yeah, people were like, why didn't they focus on just, like 3v3 or 1v1? And because they focused on like that big that MOBA mode, which people didn't like, but it looks like they're focusing more on the actual like combat with small groups.
That's good though, because that's kind of the gameplay model or the development model that Rainbow Six had, where the mode that they decided to focus on wasn't what people liked, so or just feedback in general is being put back into the game, so that's good.
Do you think they're trying to pull a Rainbow Six with For Honor?
Oh, definitely. I mean, think about the startup cost for development of a game. It's probably so much cheaper to just put out DLC and content that fixes the game and makes it what people actually wanted than to, start a new game. So,
yes, very much so. They already put so much money into it, and like the idea is like, well, we can either cut our losses now and start something new, or we can try to extend this and try to do a miracle that was kind of like Rainbow Six, and that's what they're trying to do.
Yep.
I don't know if it'll be successful, but
Starlink, we can talk about this during the Nintendo release, but
Toys to Life.
Yeah, it's essentially a Lego Dimensions or a what's the other game? Skylanders for adults. So,
I don't even know if it's for adults. I would say it's targeted the same audience.
Teens.
Yeah, I'd say it's targeted at those same kids who are now older.
Yeah.
Is it just going to be tradition now to have Miyamoto at the Ubisoft conference?
I think so. Dude, I love Miyamoto. He makes me smile whenever he is. Like, it's amazing.
He's good.
Yeah. Transference VR experience.
I'm actually really excited for this.
All right.
I don't even own a VR machine or can't even play this, but the idea behind it seems very interesting.
Right. What's it's like a 10-second sort of.
Well, they had what the hell is his name? God, yeah, never keep talking. Elijah Wood. Elijah Wood.
Oh, Elijah.
I mean, they had Elijah Wood on stage. He's a big part of it. I think Jack Black is also in it.
Okay.
Which is pretty great.
Yeah. So what's the? Looks like you're being thrown into multiple experiences. Yeah,
I think it's gonna kind of like toy with the idea of consciousness, and what is your if you put your brain elsewhere, for example.
Okay.
So I mean, they tackle a lot of these mechanics in a lot of video games nowadays. The newest what's that one horror game that came out that I'm drawing a blank on? That you're underwater.
Oh, Soma.
Soma is pretty much the defining feature of Soma. There's bits of this sci-fi and Prey as well, but I hope that they take a more artistic approach to it.
Yeah, I think this is also sort of a new format for VR too, where you're taking actors and directors that are normally making movies and telling them to make game content, which is essentially more immersive storytelling. So I think that VR has a space for movies or interactive experiences. I think this is kind of cool that they're exploring this. And it's kind of cool to see Elijah Wood as he's a creative director for this project, so he has a really good sense of how to tell a story well and what sort of things need to be present in order to convey emotion. So it's good that they're branching out the development.
I also love Jack Black, but I don't know if he's going to be that prevalent in this.
Yeah.
It looks like they just kind of got him in there, but I mean Elijah Wood is he's spearheading a lot of it, so that should be interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so The Crew 2. So The Crew was an open world driving game, and they're making a second one because I guess it hasn't a player base to warrant it.
Radio towers.
Yeah,
drive your car up the radio towers.
Yep. So people were kind of just disappointed with the lack of content in the first one. This one looks like it's going to have more. But other than that, it just looks like the same game with new cars.
I don't really want to comment on it because I didn't play the original. So
yep,
it was like a massively multiplayer car game, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of had like drop-in, I think.
The way it worked was you have like a map of the United States, but everything's like small, so like and then you kind of can just drive around to different areas. And you have like different terrains and biomes and stuff.
And
but
then
there wasn't a lot of content, so people just kind of passed it by. Yeah,
Odyssey?
Yeah, Assassin's Creed, Super Mario Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I'm definitely interested because like I was really into some of the I like the Assassin's Creed lore, both the future stuff and the past stuff, and this stuff takes place before Assassins even existed.
Yep.
So I think that's kind of interesting. There's no Hidden Blade, which is like, well, it's not really Assassin's Creed, but
yeah. But I think they're probably gonna do more of the storytelling stuff they did with Origins. Or maybe they're gonna have more of the cinematic exploration mode.
They could really do a lot with that, especially in the setting.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people just kind of like exploring the environments anyway. So if they make those sort of creative storytelling, that'd be kind of cool. And it's good for kids, They can get a little bit of history lesson.
It looks like ship combat's making a return.
Yeah.
I know that the Greeks were big with that. I wonder if we'll see like the use of Greek fire, which was essentially
definitely.
Yeah.
Every single myth that could have existed is going to appear in this game. Like
That's
every single
true,
which I think is really interesting. Because we got that Minotaur reveal at the end.
Yep.
I imagine that's going to be like a dream sequence or something. That's what they did with Origins, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of cool that they put some alt history in there too.
Yeah.
And then Space Junkies, which is just a Windows shooter. Didn't really see much on that, but just an arcade shooter for Windows. It's a VR experience, so probably going to be something similar to Space Pirate Trainer.
So something that's pretty interesting is, sorry, I'm going to go back to Assassin's Creed.
Sure.
But the god you met in Assassin's Creed 2 was Minerva.
Oh, okay.
Which is like
yeah.
So
cool.
So there's connections, right? It's gonna hopefully tie some more stuff together. I haven't played Origins yet, and I plan on doing it soon.
Right.
I really like the Assassin's Creed games. I just kind of gave them a break when they gave me a break, so I'm just giving it some room.
Yeah. So they didn't move away from that like lore that they had going on in Assassin's Creed 2?
Well, they moved away from the modern story with Desmond.
Yeah.
And then they kind of like butchered that, and they're more focusing on just like making an engaging narrative for the time period.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is
I understand, like, if you keep progressing this future story and making it further and further away from what's going on in the past, now you have two conflicting narratives that you have to try and tell. And, well, they're probably both going to suffer, so.
I mean, they based the first game on the end of the world coming in 2012, and they already passed that part, so.
Yeah.
What do you do from there?
I just remember in Assassin's Creed 2 running into those, like the Roman gods and everything, and I feel like that was the last time we saw anything with them.
Yeah.
So...
Well, they like have brief connections with them and stuff, but I mean, it's all, they've taken a step back, definitely.
It would be interesting to see some of that stuff return, like maybe the Roman gods we saw in Assassin's Creed 2 will be returning as Greek gods or their Greek counterparts.
Well, I think the idea was like Minerva went by many names, right? She's like they call me something different every time, so it'll be the same person.
Yeah. I mean,
all right. I think that wraps up Ubisoft. So now, next up, Sony. All right, so Sony, man, they caught some flack for being short.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like what Sony had to offer.
Well, Sony shot themselves in the foot, because last year they announced all the games that they showed this year.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, even though they didn't announce too many games this year, it still was a pretty strong presentation, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they showed a lot, I think, for each game, too, which is kind of nice. So let's start at the bottom here. We got Last of Us Part 2. So Ellie's back. We see her partner.
Did either of you guys play the first one?
I've watched people play it, but I didn't play it myself.
Yeah, I don't think we don't really have the know-how to really touch on this.
Yeah, this looks like more Last of Us, so fans of that will like it.
Everyone I know said it was an amazing game, so I'm sure this next one will be just as good.
One of the problems with this conference is I'm never going to own a PS4, so I'm never going to be able to play half these games.
Sure. Destiny 2 Forsaken DLC.
Yeah, we already got a Forsaken like mechanic reveal a couple weeks ago, but they just this was their lore trailer, where they show Cade maybe dying, maybe not, off screen.
Who knows?
They'll probably come back. But I like the tone.
Yeah, I just started playing Destiny 2, so like cool to see new content.
But yeah,
like it'll be fun.
I just want to use a bow and arrow.
yeah, new weapons are always cool. All right, Ghost of Tsushima. So this looks like sort of Witcher / Assassin's Creed in Japan.
So from my understanding of it, from at least like what I got from like the trailers, is it looks like it's going to take place over the course of a couple of days during one of the Mongol invasions of Japan.
Yeah,
and
this is pre-ancient, or this is ancient period. So
yeah, well, there are samurais, so it's
The samurais were like first formed for the Mongol invasion. So like, this is kind of cool to see. You know, he doesn't have like traditional samurai armor because that wasn't even a thing yet, but he is a samurai.
I think what they're probably going to do is have like a more narrative driven. They're going to be like open world like sections that like kind of fall around this narrative that lead back to the following like the next point.
Yeah, so the gameplay that they showed could either be linear or it could just be linear for the sake of the gameplay demo, where it could like still be open world. But it looks kind of like I'm trying to think of an analog for this game in terms of how it tells its story. Kind of like Tomb Raider, actually. Kind of open world, but really just linear levels.
I think what they could really, because like it looks like they're going for a more gritty approach.
Yep.
And the fact that I hope what they do is they like don't have too much progression and more like, or like at least have like narrative progression. And maybe I feel like they could maybe switch characters at some point. Like they could do like a revenge story halfway through or something like that.
Yeah, I hope the fight with your ally that they showed in the trailer, I hope that's the only one, and there's not one of those after every mission.
What I hoped would happen in the trailer was that she would kill him and then you would play as her.
Oh yeah,
that would be the coolest shit ever.
like,
you just like follow
after every mission, you just kill the other person and then you just continue.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
You're just like following, you're just like kind of like tiptoeing from story to story. I think that'd be like a really cool way to do it. Like a lot of movies or a few movies take that approach. So, Remedy Entertainment's Control.
Yeah.
So,
what's this all about?
So Remedy's the game that they released most recently. What the hell is that called? They did Alan Wake and they did Quantum Break.
Oh, Alan Wake. Oh,
yes.
Okay. I did not like Quantum Break at all, but Alan Wake is a great game.
So the second I saw this trailer, I'm like, oh, this kind of looks like Quantum Break, but like different, and it is.
I mean, hopefully it's just Alan Wake return to form because those games are fun.
I like the aesthetic they're going for. I like square, like block gun.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Pixel gun.
Pixel gun. It looks very trippy, honestly. The whole game. Looks like there's a lot of sound too in there, so maybe it's gonna have some cool sound design. A lot of like acoustic tiling and stuff, and the world changing dynamically. So.
Well, the idea of Quantum Break was it was like mixed media, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll take the right parts of mixed media and not the wrong parts of mixed media. Because that was the one that had like the television show, right?
Yeah, that's with the TV show going on.
Why would? Because you know what? After 30 minutes of playing a game, I want to put my controller down and watch a 30-minute episode of a television show.
Yeah, right. All right. So yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3. We already saw some stuff about that. We'd already talked about that.
Um,
Death Stranding.
we skipped.
Oh, Resident Evil 2 remake. Yeah. So just HD remake of Resident Evil 2.
It doesn't. I mean, it looks more than an HD remake. It looks like the same story, but like the new mechanics of the Resident Evil games.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, there's a lot of people that haven't played those games, and the new Resident Evil games will make sense if they release this. So it's cool to see.
Trover saves the universe or whatever. Probably the most disappointing I've ever been in anything ever. I was like, oh, Justin Roiland. Oh my god. Ooh.
But then a kind of bad platformer, and
not even that.
Wait, why does it reminds me of a lot of accounting in ways?
Well, it's because it's the same studio.
Did you not like accounting?
I liked accounting, but just like it's just Justin Roiland doing the thing he always does, but he does like the same thing over and over again, but he did it like 10 times worse in this trailer.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's just Justin Roiland being Justin Roiland with new characters, but like the same kind of, not the same gags, but like they're the same gags.
He's like, oh, I'm in a bathtub, oh, everything's weird, why am I in, oh, the television fell in, oh.
Yeah, you're right, I guess it does get old.
I'm just sick of it.
Yeah,
I'm glad that.
I mean, hopefully the actual
Morty,
like gameplay is fun, and
yeah,
we'll see.
I'm glad Rick and Morty has Dan Harmon to even it out. Otherwise, I feel like it'd probably have quickly descended into hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Death Stranding. So another trailer. Still no idea what's going on, but we got more babies. We got more Norman Reedus. We got.
We got UPS.
Yeah, we got a new character, I think, also.
Yeah, the girl.
Yeah. She's from,
but,
oh gosh. Blue is the warmest color, I think, is... I think that's what movie she's from. I need to look her up. But yeah, we got these really realistic looking face scans of people, and I guess they're going to do some mocap stuff, but yeah.
There was more than just... trailers though. There did appear to be some gameplay.
Yep.
Even though it was just them walking with things on their back, because if that means they're kind of heading towards walking simulator, I'm down with that.
Yeah, I mean, this game looks great because then I can watch someone play it and not have to buy it.
The mystery behind it though is really enthralling. Looks like it has a pretty cool story to tell.
There was also some speculation that a lot of the environments from the unmade Metal Gear game made its way into this game. There was some concept art that was compared, so maybe we'll get to see some of that stuff. Maybe there will be some Easter eggs. Who knows?
I don't think they'll do that. Unless they want to get sued to all hell. That's not going to happen.
Neo 2. So Neo is pretty popular.
The third person Japanese sword game that actually is it the fourth?
I think that's really just the convergence of Sony. You know, eventually every game will be a Japanese form game.
No, well, we had Neo, we had Ghost, and we also have the new Die
game.
Twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this.
Spider-Man. We're getting gritty Spider-Man, which is cool.
Yeah,
because Spider-Man sort of needs to be taken seriously, but at the same time, I think the only problem that can go wrong is if they start making Spider-Man's speech gritty, because that's not how Spider-Man is. But yeah, it looks kind of like Spider-Man 2. Which is awesome. That's a great game.
I played a ton of Spider-Man 2 when I was little. I don't know if it's just I'm nostalgic about it, but I remember it being a really fun game. So
same here.
If this new Spider-Man is anything like that game, I'm sure it'll be great. And I'm glad that I do have a PS4, so I'll probably give this one a try.
All right. Yeah,
I love Spider-Man 2 as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other criticisms or things. Oh yeah, so Insomniac is actually the developer for this game. So they are the developers for Ratchet & Clank as well as Sunset Overdrive. Sunset Overdrive didn't actually perform that well as a launch title for Xbox One, but like they kind of went too goofy with it and people didn't take it seriously. So I think if any developer can keep humor in a game but also make it sort of badass, it would be them.
Did you guys play Ultimate Spider-Man?
I actually did play a little bit of that game.
It's pretty much like Spider-Man 2, but continued. It's also great. This one looks a little bit more, at least from what we see. There is like the open world area, but it looks like most of the fun is going to be had on like linear-ish missions.
Yeah. I also played the first 2 Arkham games, and so like if they take cues from that, be more than pleased. Those games are pretty fun.
Those games, it's hard to demonstrate because I looked at looking at the combat is not fun at all.
Exactly.
It is not fun to watch.
You really need to show that you're having... So, like, the strength of those games, I think, is having multiple storylines going on at one time with very interesting characters. And so, like, if this game just focuses on... what's his face? I want to say Static Shock, but that's not his name.
Yeah. They're called, like, the Wicked Six or something like that?
Electro. Yeah, so as long as this game doesn't focus on just one enemy, because like one enemy gets very boring when the whole game's about him. But if you constantly are switching between, a few interesting enemies, it'll be fun.
Didn't the trailer like literally show every Spider-Man enemy ever?
So there's the Sinister Six, which is like the 6 main enemies of Spider-Man.
So like Electro, Green Goblin, Rhino, who else?
Okay, it's like different every time, apparently.
I see. Oh, okay, yeah. So Sinister Six. Let's see who we got here. So yeah, Doc Ock, Mysterio. Oh gosh, yeah. But there's like 10 different ones.
Yeah.
So I mean, we already got Electro. So probably going to be like, Rept. Oh, okay.
Well, they showed all of them. They showed all the Sinister Six.
Oh,
in the trailer.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here.
I honestly can't name the names off the top of my head that I saw in the trailer.
All right. Yeah, we can move on, and I'll figure out who these are.
All right.
I actually want to mention this Call of Duty Black Ops 3 thing. It's listed here. They're actually coming out with a DLC for Call of Duty Black Ops 3, not the new one, the previous one, that has a bunch of maps from the Black Ops series in it, and they're restricting it to the PlayStation platform only if you pre-order Black Ops 4. This is
so basically what they're trying to do is trying to build hype for the next game. Is what it sounds like.
Yeah, kind of, but it's having the opposite effect. Everyone's just super pissed that that they're locking it on PS4 behind a pre-order, and it's even worse than what they did with Modern Warfare Remastered when they locked it behind Infinity War. I mean, not Infinity War, Infinite Warfare. And yeah, it's causing a lot of unrest in the community, if you want to say it that way.
I would imagine so. I mean, like, I saw the trailer and they're bringing back some of the maps. Even I remember, and I wasn't a huge Call of Duty fan, so that must mean something, right?
Yeah, but it's even weirder that they're putting it out for Black Ops 3, and is that game still popular?
Well, I imagine they wanted it to be popular again, right?
Yeah.
All
right,
see, the fact that they call it Back in Black kind of makes me believe that they're like, hey, come back.
Please come back to Black Ops in Black. Looks like we got Electro, Rhino, Scorpion, Vulture, and Mr. Negative.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they haven't announced the 6th mysterious benefactor, but a lot of people think that it's going to be Dr. Octopus, because he doesn't organize the Sinister Six in the comics and stuff. So
that makes sense, because they're like, they told us not to kill him or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Nintendo.
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's speed over some of these. Daemon Ex Machina. It's like an interesting mech game.
Giant monsters fighting gianter monsters.
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2 DLC.
Ew.
Jake was saying that this is you play as the bad guys.
I don't know for sure. I didn't finish Xenoblade Chronicles 2. They could become good guys somewhere along in that story, but but yeah, the trailer focused on the bad guys, at least at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
I
Super
like
Mario
just
Party?
the little bit I've seen from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 makes me hate it to the nth degree.
yeah, definitely
It's like,
not my
what's
style.
What's the worst parts of anime? Let's put that in a video game.
Super Mario Party. So this is
pumped.
another couch co-op game, which is usually an insta buy for me on Switch. Return to form, Super Mario Party. So we're getting some.
Yeah, I watched
stuff.
the Treehouse gameplay of this, and it looks like a lot of fun. Like, they're introducing character die that give like special attributes to the dice, as well as having the classic dice that you can use. Just cool stuff like that. There actually is an online minigame mode where you can go on and compete in multiplayer in the minigames.
All right, so the online mode isn't
not full-fledged. No.
Not full-fledged. Okay. And yeah, they did also announce sort of local wireless integration where you can like connect two Switches together and make like a bigger map for some of the mini games. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that looked interesting.
Fortnite, but we'll save that for sort of our Fortnite rant. Overcooked 2. So this is an announcement for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and Windows. Looks like just more Overcooked, more levels, more food, more crafting stations or whatever. Looks kind of cool. They do have a steaming station now, so we might get some dim sum in there. Be cool to see some Chinese
steamed hams.
Yeah, steamed hams maybe. Fire Emblem, 3 Houses. So this is a core Fire Emblem game. Looks pretty cool.
I imagine people into this are very excited.
Yes, people that like Fire Emblem were probably excited, but we'll see. Super
45 minutes of
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So we got not only name reveal for Smash, but we got some gameplay and we got patch notes as well. So yeah, every character that's ever been in a Smash game is going to be in this game. So they've been working diligently. This is kind of a port, but it's kind of its own game. It's a mix of the two. We also did get 2 new characters that we haven't seen in Smash before. So we have Inklings as well as Ridley. And the Inklings do have 8 variations, which is kind of cool because that, for 8-player Smash, you can get 8 different colors in there.
Which makes sense because a lot of that game is about style. A lot of Splatoon.
Yes, exactly.
Was one of the characters the Octo Girl?
Yes.
One of the 8?
Yeah, one of the 8 was Octo Girl.
Nice.
And also they have different Splatoon weapons for each of your different abilities, which is kind of cool. They announced the Battlefield mode.
Hell yeah.
Omega with Battlefield platforms.
Fuck yeah.
Which is just like, hey guys, you like playing tournaments? Well, here's tournament-ready stages for you.
That'll save me the 5 minutes it took to cut out 80% of the maps on my random select screen. I can just be like, I wonder if you could do only Battlefield or Omega.
That would be good.
If you could just random between those two. I would like that.
We also got a little thing, which is just a little quality of life thing for tournaments. In competitive Smash, they're flipping the order of map selection and character selections. Now you choose maps first before choosing characters. So just logistically simpler for Smash tournaments. It looks like they took some of the complaints that people had about Smash 4 for tournaments and just put it into the game. It's cool.
One of the huge changes that I'm very excited for, it seems like the smallest detail, was the fact that when you fight one-on-one, you deal more damage.
Yep.
That is so big, especially because we played so much 8-player Smash.
Yes, exactly.
And the one-on-one at the end lasted maybe half of the length of the entire game.
Oh, so that's dynamic. So it's not just if you're fighting.
No, it's dynamic.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's honestly a much needed fix, and it'll make tournament games faster too. So.
I'm excited to see a return of movement in the aerial dodges, as well as they made short hops easier to perform. For some reason, on the older games, I could never perform a successful short hop into an attack, and they made it in this game. So now, if you press like the jump button and the A button at the same time, you automatically perform a short hop aerial. So that's very welcome.
So Killer Queen Black. So this is just another Nindy game for Switch. Looks kind of like a Duck Game or Hammerfall.
I think it looks like iDarb for the Xbox. You guys probably have never seen that, but
is that just like a local co-op?
It was like a 2D soccer game, kind of like.
Oh, okay, yeah,
soccer-esque game, but yeah.
I actually do know what you're talking about.
This looks like the most popular game on the indie market. Am I right? Or was this a full release, like a full supported game?
No, this is an indie game.
I know, but like Xbox had like their indie section for a while there. This looks like a game that's beyond that.
Yeah.
It was actually given to free to all Xbox users. Oh wait, we're not talking about iDarb, are we?
I'm talking about iDarb, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it was given for free to like all Xbox users at some point, and it was pretty popular for a while.
Cool.
All right, Hollow Knight. So that's already out. Jake and I already bought it. I had Hollow Knight on PC, but I only got like 40% of the way through it. I don't know. I'm just more motivated to play indie games on Switch, so picked it up for Switch.
I've been playing it a lot this past week.
Yeah, great game, great
game.
Sound design, good art, good combat. Controls are really tight.
Some might say it's the Dark Souls of platforming Metroidvania games.
Yeah, it's pretty hard, and they don't hold your hand at all, so it's nice.
Some of the mechanics are taken from Dark Souls.
Yeah,
it is actually though.
Yeah,
and they admit it. Fighter Z.
Yeah. I'm so happy that this is Switch. I literally didn't buy it on PC because I was waiting for them to announce it for Switch. So I'm super glad. This game looks actually really fun.
I was thinking of Shojin Jump. No, yeah, okay, this is Fighter. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no, this is Dragon Ball FighterZ. So this is, essentially just a 2D. It's a 2.5D fighting game, kind of like Mortal Kombat, but with Dragon Ball characters. Cool thing about this game, I mean, it's already out, but cool thing about this game is there's a tag-in mechanic, so you can have multiple characters on your sort of squad, and you can dynamically change them. Really cool ultimates, really similar art style to the TV show. Just looks like an all-around fun game. Has an online mode that's just essentially, fight someone else online. But yeah, cool to see this on Switch. I'm super glad that they're porting games to Switch, because Switch needs more local co-op games. So
the one thing I'm worried about though is the frame rate. It might be a bit of an issue, but
yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, it might be a 30 FPS lock for some of those giant cutscenes, or they could pre-render those things too.
The graphics in that game, they're like the textures are simple, right? But like the polygons are complicated.
Yes, exactly. So they do have very simple textures. So, I mean, it's Unreal port, so Unreal games have actually run pretty well on Switch. So, we'll see. Yeah.
Octopath Traveler is the last thing there, I think, that matters.
Yep. They actually dropped a prologue for this that you can play now. And then your progress carries over when the full game gets announced. But Square Enix RPG, cool 2D characters in a 3D world. So art style is kind of cool.
The art style looks great.
Yeah, it really just allows them to have really cool lighting and sort of particle effects.
It's like if you took a pop-up book and made it into a game almost.
Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of like see, the art style is different, but it does remind me of how not Super Paper Mario, but Paper Mario Color Splash looks, in terms of flat characters moving out in a 3D world. It's a cool art style. Yeah, so now we're just going to talk about some other games that we had some points on and just wrap up our discussion. So let's talk about Fortnite, because that got a Switch release the day of E3. I know Jake has some words.
This made me beyond mad.
Wait, hold up. So you're going to tell me that you didn't predict the game would come out on Switch a couple months ago when you played it on PS4?
Okay,
you didn't know that was going to happen, and you didn't. You didn't choose your fate.
Let me correct. Really strong word.
Let me correct you there, Cooper. I didn't play it on PS4. I linked my account once to get a skin.
Never even dropped.
You took the bait. You should have read the read the small.
No, that's the problem. There was no fine print.
Yeah, so really just to recap what we're actually talking about here, essentially, if you've ever linked your account to PS4, your Epic account from Fortnite to PS4,
or even Paragon,
or Paragon, really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Even if you linked it with
Paragon, which was like their failed at MOBA, to PS4. Your Epic account becomes platform restricted, and you can't play on both Xbox or Switch. This wasn't really a problem before because the overlap of people that own both an Xbox and PS4 is pretty small. But it did, it still allowed you to play on PC. So, like, I know Jake didn't even notice that there was any such thing as platform restriction. And then, essentially, he went to go boot up the game on Switch. Log in with his Epic account where he's actually spent money on the game and has Battle Pass and everything, and just to be told, oh, you're platform restricted, too bad. Even if you unlink your account, you can't even play on Switch with your account. So
I'm going to play Devil's Advocate, and I'm going to play Devil's Advocate's Advocate.
All right.
So the Devil's Advocate argument is this is just cosmetics, so it doesn't really matter.
Sure.
But then the Devil's Advocate is going to say that this game, without the Battle Pass, is almost an entirely different game.
I agree.
Yeah, not even worth playing without the Battle Pass, in my opinion.
I also agree.
So, therefore, Epic, you can point fingers and be like, Epic, you should have tried harder, or Sony, you should not be fucks. But I think they're both kind of benefiting from this in their own way. Even if Epic wants to be like, we can't help it, they're probably going to get some repeat Battle Pass purchases.
Oh, I see what you're saying,
Yeah.
I know that for me, I just feel that developers should have more control over the game than they do. It's kind of sucks that they're being pushed around so much by the publisher. But,
not the publisher, though.
Well, technically they are the publisher for the PS4 release. But, just such a weird concept that you can be platform restricted from logging in, and that unlinking doesn't change that. I'm sure there's people that would gladly throw their PS4 out of a window in order to get.
I'm raising my hand right now.
On Switch, yeah. I think that's also the fear that Sony had, and that's why they did this, because they know that people will just leave their platform.
Their stock.
You can
went
literally
down.
play Fortnite on the toilet. So
their stock went down when this happened.
Well, that's good.
So think about this for a second. A game comes out and is very successful. Your stock goes up. A game comes out and is not successful. Your stock goes down. A game that's already been out comes out on a different console, but not the console you're on. A different console, and you decide something mechanically that changes the way people play that, and your stock goes down.
Yeah,
that's how powerful Fortnite is right now. What the fuck?
That's
ridiculous.
That's
Can we let's put Fortnite in the title of this podcast.
All right,
gone sexual.
There's also a lot of people that said, like, oh, yeah, I have a Switch, and my kids have the PS4, and I, linked my account so they could play with my skins, and now I can't do anything. So, more of the story, don't have kids. All right. So we got some other stuff here. Let's talk about Catherine Full Body. So, Jake, you want to introduce what this is?
All right. So, I honestly do not know too much about this game. I am just gonna admit right out here.
Did you play Catherine?
No, I didn't. I know it's a remake of the original Catherine. It looks really interesting. It's like a puzzle game. I know that much. But I really just like the Persona anime art style it has going on, and the story looks like it could be interesting.
Yeah, it looks like a puzzle game with sort of like an overworld that you explore, right? Am I?
I don't know if there's an. I did.
I'm saying, there's an outside of the puzzle aspect story.
Oh yeah, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
So the original Catherine was really weird. It was a game where you climb boxes.
Yeah, that's what.
But it's also like a sexual anime game.
All right. Yeah, I mean,
would you climb?
I guess in a sexual anime game, you also would climb boxes. So maybe it's just an extended metaphor. Yeah, I don't know. To me, it looks humorous and complex. It it looks kind of funny, and it looks like the puzzle game can be pretty interesting. So it's cool to see games that have gameplay completely unrelated to the story. It's fun to get some randomness in there. Yeah. So next up,
I mean, it's an Atlas game, and Atlas makes good games. I mean,
that's true. That's true. Yeah. Persona came out and smacked everyone in the head. So, all right, Ooblets. So this is a Windows and Xbox One release, I think, right? Or is it just Windows?
I think it's on both.
Yeah, let me just check. Yeah, it's both. All right. So this is Harvest Moon, Animal Crossing, Pokemon style game with cosmetics and animals that you can raise and houses that you can decorate and stuff.
Just
an indie game.
Yeah, it's made by Double Fine actually.
Well, it's published by Double Fine.
Published by Double Fine. Okay.
Yeah, so Double Fine didn't actually make this.
All right.
But the Double Fine, they're trying to like establish a track record of the kind of like what like Tiny Build or Devolver or something like that, where they like, we only publish good games.
I see what you're saying.
Because, you know, the whole like, Steam's no longer a good marketplace to buy things, you know.
Yeah.
So now they're like, where the name that we put on things? So that's what they're trying to do. But it looks like it's going to be really dang good, in my opinion.
Yeah, my thing was this would be really cool if they just drop a mod support for it or something. It would be kind of cool if you can make your own workshop items and add it to the game.
I just see Animal Crossing and Pokemon. Sign me up.
Speaking of Animal Crossing, no Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of my predictions, and I'm kind of upset that they didn't show it.
I understand what they're doing, but I'm very angry, and I will punch someone in the face.
They did announce that, like, within the upcoming month or weeks, that they are going to be having another direct where they showcase upcoming games, like, in the next year. So,
that would be cool.
Who knows? Maybe we could see it then.
I mean, Nintendo also has to space out their releases.
Yes, exactly.
In order to sell consoles. Because essentially what they're doing is they drop a release that sells consoles, and then they have indie game support until the next release that sells consoles. So,
yeah. What they, and that's why I'm thinking, so the fact that we haven't heard anything about Animal Crossing yet makes me believe that the big release this winter is going to be Smash.
Yeah.
Then the early next year is going to be Metroid, I think, is my prediction.
Okay. And then Animal Crossing after.
And Animal Crossing will be winter of the following year, I think.
Okay. Yeah, and then you just put...
Where does the next Pokemon core game fit into that?
That'll also be winter of next year, but that's also Pokemon's this year. Pokemon's kind of niche, in my opinion. It's not as much of a console seller.
Wait, really?
Well, they kind of want to keep separate. So I think they could do like a fall release for one of the games for Animal Crossing or Pokemon, and then a winter release for the other.
What I should have said was the audience that plays Pokemon and the audience that plays like Smash doesn't have as much overlap, so they don't have to worry about we're gonna release two games that these same people want to play at the same time. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I understand that. All right. Next up we got
no news on Splunky 2. I was hoping that we'd get more news on Splunky 2 in one of the conferences. I wanted it so bad, but unfortunately we still don't know what's happening. Splunky 2.
Grim Fandango Remastered. Any of you guys played Grim Fandango?
I don't know. What is Grim Fandango?
Have you ever played? Have you ever played those games where you go to a person and you're like, "Hey, can you do this thing for me?" And they're like, "No, go do this other thing first." And you go, and then that person gives you like another task to do, and eventually you like get to the end of the chain and you start like completing tasks and going back up. It's like that.
It's the theme is like a Mexican folklore, right?
Yep. It's you play as like an undead bone man.
Oh, okay, I think I've definitely seen like artwork of it.
Yeah, it's an adventure game. Yeah, this is a game that I never got to play. I've watched some series on YouTube, so I'll probably pick it up on Switch because, you know what I said, like it'll be fun to play.
It's already out on Steam, the remastered version.
Yeah, I think the reason that Nintendo is doing this is because of like popularity of sort of Xbox, their backwards compatibility. There's so many people that missed an entire console generation, and like this isn't even a console release, but like there's a lot of people that just missed releases, so they can just remaster a game, drop it for $30 or $40, and then discount it half off, in a month or two.
Grim Fandango was only ever a PC game, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
and it was very niche, but also very critically acclaimed.
Yeah,
it's kind of the same thing as is it Heavy Metal? What's the other Double Fine game? That's like the
Heavy Metal. Yep.
Yeah, so that's like the other one.
Also, Jack Black.
Is he voice acting?
Yeah, he's part of the cast.
Oh, cool! That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Jack Black's in pretty much all of the Double Fine games.
Yeah.
He was in Double Fine Adventure as well. He was the Cloud Man.
All right, so let's see here. Anything else we can talk? Oh yeah, we got some stuff at the bottom.
You guys probably aren't, anime fans like myself, but I'm actually really looking forward to Jump Force.
All right.
Just the idea of seeing all these Shonen Jump characters coming together in a fighter. I never got
like One Piece or Luffy from One Piece and like Naruto and stuff.
Yeah, I never got a chance to play like J-Stars Battle on PS4 on the PlayStation or anything like that. So it'd be cool to play a game like, just have all these anime characters come together and fight. And that Light Yagami reveal at the end of the trailer, that was pretty dope. It'd be interesting to see how the guy with the Death Note works in a fighter.
I assume he summons a dude, right?
Oh, okay, that'd be cool. Like summon a...
Ryuk was next to him in the trailer, so...
I really like alternative fighters, like, stuff that isn't like Marvel vs. Capcom or Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, because usually what ends up happening with these games is they introduce one cool mechanic and then that gets absorbed to the main fighters. So even if I don't like this game, like the best case scenario is that it has something cool about it that gets adopted into a more mainstream game.
And the graphics look really good.
Yeah. All right, so Rapture Rejects. No one expected this game. So this is a Cyanide and Happiness Battle Royale. It's a top-down 2D game. It's like sort of isometric, but like 2D characters and stuff. So it looks like the comic. Yeah, that's it. It's just Cyanide and Happiness Battle Royale.
I think this game has a lot of potential, actually.
It kind of is a perfect game to make fun of battle royales, I think.
but it could also be good in its own right, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good.
Exactly.
Did you guys play Realm of the Mad God?
I did. My friends got addicted to it. I did play a little bit, but
the idea of like that, but you're fighting each other, is like very appealing.
That's cool. That game handles really well. So like, if you the movement system is exactly like that.
It's very simple to render, right? And that's the fact that they can get this game. The combat can be like pretty good. Maybe have some like progression in there. Yeah, run on anything.
That's cool too, because like I have some friends who I laptop game with, and like they can't play everything that I can play, so it's just cool to have more accessible games. So Maverick's Proving Grounds. Jake,
speaking of battle royales, this game looks really interesting. I've heard that the squad mode is going to be up to 1,000 players in one game, and the solo mode is going to have 400 players. I think they're implementing a new like cloud server tech to get this running, and it sounds like it'd be really interesting to play. The dynamic of having 1,000 players in one match would just cause some really insane situations.
So my question is more players better for a battle royale?
I don't know. We haven't really seen...
Yeah, that hasn't been explored.
We haven't really
so
seen
it's kind
a
of interesting to see
like that.
Is less players worse?
Are you scaling map size?
Yeah, that's the question, right?
All right. Yeah.
Like if you have, it's 1,000 players, but the map is 100 or is 10 times bigger, and also that means that the game takes 3 times longer.
Yeah.
Is that what that's going to mean, right?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely a balance to be found, and so it's kind of cool to see that there's a company going in the opposite direction, because there was a Battle Royale game that just got released. Oh, totally accurate, Battlegrounds. I had 40 players, but like, it's kind of cool to see that there's a company tackling the other aspect. Also, this game has out-of-game progression. I can't stress this enough. Like, a Battle Royale game is only going to survive if there is more to the game than each fight.
Yeah, and there's also like an MMO like social hub that you go to in between matches where you can, purchase all your upgrades and whatnot for your character progression. And
right, just having a blank menu with a terribly pre-rendered person on the front is kind of lame.
Well, this game is going to fail. I am say that because the game Mag that came out on PS3 had 256 players, and that game was a disaster. So therefore, this game will be twice as much of a disaster because it has twice as many players.
All right,
is that how that works?
Let's see here.
Call of Cthulhu.
Call of Cthulhu. That's
Call
the last one we got.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. All right,
so what's the
So Lovecraftian,
right.
first-person RPG, and then from what I get, it has perk points, kind of like the Council. Have you guys played the Council or seen it?
No.
So the Council is like it's kind of like this episodic game where you play as this guy in the olden days who like talks with George Washington and stuff. Anyway, the idea is like you have RPG progression mechanics that kind of play into the dialogue system.
Okay.
And that's kind of how this is going to go because there's I think there's 3 different branches. You can either be like an investigative branch, like a research branch, or like a social branch.
Oh my gosh, how am I? Okay, Call of Cthulhu, also known as like the other good D&D style.
Oh yeah, it's Lovecraftian. I should have mentioned that.
Yeah.
It is, and the Call of Cthulhu is also the name of a RPG game, but this is just kind of tangentially related to that.
Nice.
But I really like
this
how
looks great.
And because there have been Cthulhu games in the past that have been kind of bad. They've kind of taken the Descent. What is that game called? Amnesia track.
Yeah.
But this appears to have like mechanical effects, but also narratively driven.
Yeah, this looks like BioShock 1 like style.
Yes, but
which is
less combat focused.
Yeah, which is good. I feel like BioShock, the weakest part of it is the combat. So like, man, more story. That's like you start off doing one thing and you get to the end and you're like, what in the world just happened? Like those games are great.
Okay, so
really good.
It looks like it has like a sanity
Yes.
Yeah.
So like how Amnesia worked. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but the idea that you have this because one of the problems with horror is it's really hard to feel powerless, but also empower your player. Like you gotta. The point of horror is you got to be able to deprive them of some kind of power that they feel like they can't do anything about it, right? But at the same time, it makes a bad video game because the whole point of the video game is having agency. So the fact that they're kind of like focusing the powers on social elements as well as exploration elements, and then you still feel powerless when it comes to like combat elements, except for if you get creative with it.
That's
so
good. I mean, that's that. I feel like that tailors to people that have been wanting that style of game but haven't gotten it, because usually what ends up happening is games focus on combat because it's an easier way to make up for the lack of control. Yeah.
So these are the guys that made Styx, I want to say.
All right. Styx is pretty.
It's
cool.
okay. Yeah, this is
it's weird voice acting, but yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. But so I don't know. I have high hopes.
Yeah, this looks like very atmospheric, very cool voice acting in the trailer and stuff, and really cool environments, like really spooky. It looks like atmospheric horror, which is honestly my favorite type of horror movie. So,
but I mean, they have made some. Cyanide they make a lot of interesting games. If you look at the Wikipedia page, they've made Styx. They've made Space Hulk, which was like the 40K game that just like went kaplunk. Yeah. They made Blood Bowl, which is like solid but niche. Mm-hmm. They make Tour de France video games.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool to see a studio that doesn't make the same thing over and over, like try something new. So, I mean, Yeah,
Wait.
if it's a Bioshock-esque game with more story and less combat, I'm all for that.
They made the Game of Thrones video game? Not the Telltale one.
But the actual...
The 2012
I think
Game
it's
of
a-
Thrones video
Yeah.
game.
Is that a mobile game?
No, I heard about that. It's like a really bad RPG.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like it was on PS4. or
These
Steam.
these games are all over the place, so that's
360.
why I feel like
this
I hope
game looks terrible. All right.
I hope this is like we finally have the resources to do what we want to do, not like we got to make Call of Cthulhu to get money. I hope it's good. I really
People
hope
thought
it's good.
that Bethesda was going to drop a Game of Thrones RPG.
All
Yes.
because of a Target leak.
Yeah.
Because of the Target leak and because in the live stream leading up to the announcement of Fallout 76, there was a guy wearing a Sons of the Harpy mask.
Oh no.
Yeah, but there was nothing. Oh, the bait.
Yeah.
Why would he do that?
All right. I think that kind of wraps up everything about E3. I mean, at least the stuff we care about.
And some of the stuff we don't.
Yeah, exactly. The crew. Never gonna touch that game. All right.
Oh, Hitman 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's something. That
People
exists.
like
it's
Hitman
not dead.
games, and they're making new ones. So like
The co-op sniper mode actually looks pretty cool.
co-op sniper games are actually like some of the rarest games. There's essentially like sniper elite, and that's it. So co-op sniper mode, cool.
All right.
But yeah,
Alright.
I guess that wraps up the 2018 E3 recap done by the
That wraps up
Soupcast.
the wrap up.
Name tentative.
All right, yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Thanks for listening.